there's a lot of things that have happened. Hey, welcome to episode 168 of Front Seat Gamer. I'm Nick. I'm here with Paul.
Hey.
And Blake.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
Hey. How you been?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. It's been a little while.
It has been.
Has
this been our biggest break? What was it? Was it 3 or 4 months?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been probably 3 months.
I don't know that
things
it's
have happened in between.
I mean, COVID happened, and that was a pretty big break.
Oh, actually, no. That was probably the biggest break. Yeah,
I wasn't around for that one, so.
This is certainly the biggest since Paul's being in the hot seat.
Yep. And it was because we were very, very, very busy.
You guys were,
for Exilecon.
Yeah.
Like, I was telling Paul just before the podcast, I worked pretty much every day for like 2 months.
Yep.
And no burnout at all, right?
Man,
You loved it. You loved it.
My God, I'd already planned after Exilecon to take 2 weeks off, so I was. That's what I was like holding on for, like, getting through it, and then 2 weeks off, and I was just like, oh my God.
I find that when you've booked time off, it somehow makes it much harder to get through that time because you know what's coming.
Yeah.
And it becomes more about the wait than it does about like the reward.
Well, it was less. It felt a little bit less like that because we had Exilecon first, and that, even though that was also like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because we had to be on the floor and doing this whole card game thing.
Yeah.
It was still like, it still felt like, well, the work is done and now we can enjoy it,
Yeah.
you know, and seeing fans like actually react to the stuff you've been like working on for so long. That's like a reward, and that does energize you.
It does.
You know?
I remember.
Yeah.
So Exilecon, I went there.
Yep.
I went there. I was first time as a friend and fan.
Yeah.
As opposed to an employee.
Yeah. How did you what was your experience as not an employee there?
It was fun seeing how hyped everybody was for
yeah.
it, and it was fun seeing how hyped like you guys were to show stuff off. But also, I know there was a lot of like dread about it because you're working on this thing for a super long time, and all you see is the mistakes or the things that could be better, and or all the things that have been going wrong in the week or two leading up to it.
Yep.
And just hoping and praying that like it doesn't happen on stage in front of however many thousand people are watching.
Yeah.
But like the presentation went well. The game looks amazing. Looks beautiful.
It looks like, I swear, it is that thing of like, when you're working on something, a lot of the time you can only see the flaws.
Yep.
It felt like when I was actually watching the actual gameplay on stage, it was the first time I could sit back and just see it for like what it is.
Yeah.
That's
I was like, this is actually a pretty good looking game. This is like really nice.
Yeah.
This looks awesome.
Dang, these
I mean, it
environments.
yeah. Well, literally, yeah. I was like, man, these areas look so good.
Yeah.
Because seeing them go from, gray box to thing, it is such a slow process that you kind of, and very incremental, and you kind of forget the progress you've made until you kind of like are able to step back and see it.
It's like watching yourself age in the mirror.
Yeah.
Which you can all relate to at this point. Especially after Exile.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And what I actually really enjoyed was Mark dying on the on that boss.
The live stream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it also stressed me out a lot.
Yeah.
Because one death, I feel like one death is great. One death is fun, and the fans can be like, "Oh my God, this is a live demo." Two deaths is like, "Oh, is this too hard?" And then it's like 3 deaths is like, "Okay, something is like wrong here."
Something's very wrong.
Yeah. So I was just like, "Oh my God!" Like
I scraped through it.
Yeah.
And he was stressed about doing that live too.
The funny thing was, I was sitting next to a fan, and before, like we were chatting a little bit, and before that presentation, I said like, oh yeah, Mark, he's been running this for like weeks, and he's died a few times doing it, and the guy's like, oh wow, and then seeing him die on stage, just yeah.
I mean, it looks hard. I didn't actually get a chance to play it because people were busy playing it, and
it's like seriously, I really like the game.
Yeah, so do I. I didn't play there. I checked it out from home.
Yeah, me too. I went home and played.
I only played the monk, and I kept resetting my timer so I could play a bit more.
Oh right, yeah.
I
think I implemented the cheat that like didn't
right.
that didn't the timer didn't run out.
Yep.
But yeah, I was playing it at home as well as the monk, and I was like, this is actually like really
fun
great
gameplay. I like it.
I've been playing too, like since then, all the demo characters are gone from our dev build.
Yeah.
And so I just started playing like as a sorcerer from like Act 1 and going through there. That's like awesome as well. Like I do feel that it's gonna be next time I play PoE 2, I'm gonna be hitting spacebar like all the time to dodge around, and it's just not there. It's gonna feel a lot less like dynamic and like
I found it really hard to get used to dodging.
Me too, but once I did...
I play a lot of games where dodging is the mechanic to, like, get through hard things. And still just my brain in PoE was like, nah, you've got to, like, flame dash. Where's flame dash?
Yeah. I think, like, in the last week before Exilecon, a lot of people were sort of wrapping up work, and that was the first time a lot of the devs, who weren't on, like, the QA team, got to... like play it in its intended state.
Yeah.
And a lot of us came away being like, oh man, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is because we just forget to dodge.
Yes.
And I thinking back to my first experience I was like, yeah, I wasn't dodging. Like I literally was just standing there taking hits, like or like trying to run away. And it's just like once you get into that flow of like dodging, it makes the game feel so much nice and fluid, and
when you're using the mechanics.
Yeah, when you're using the mechanic. Yeah. I really like it. Like
you sound like you're paid by them or something.
I mean I know that sounds like, oh yeah, of course you'll say that, but I do actually like I did like it quite a lot.
I know that there are things you love and don't love about PoE 1, so it's really exciting to hear that you're excited to play more PoE 2. So is Monk your favorite class so far?
I only really played Monk, but that was because it looked the most fun to me.
Yeah.
And I did really enjoy it.
Yeah, Monk is really cool because it does... Well, the ones that were shown at the demo are the most complete. So they have... their full sort of like mechanics and skills and all that.
Their archetypes.
Yeah. Recently, so they've been showing off a new demo at like Gamescom and around America, and they have the Druid.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very keen to like try the Druid.
Yeah.
Man, the Druid looked dope. They're like combos with the shockwaves and the volcanoes.
Yeah.
That looks fun.
This is what people. This is what people
Are
were
you
like.
favor them as well.
Yeah, a little bit.
This is what people were raving about with when we released that like that trailer showing all the different like combos. It's just people being like oh my god, everything like combos into everything else, and they're just like your mind just expands with possibilities of like what you could do.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
It's cool. I really enjoyed like Exilecon. It was great.
So tell me about. I mean, you were on the show floor. What boss were you?
I was. Wait, am I wearing the T-shirt?
You are.
Yeah, I am. It's first day I was a water elemental.
Okay.
And going into that, I thought like, oh no, I'm a low level monster. I'm going to get swarmed. But I had like a frost attack thing that nobody like could defend themselves against.
Yeah.
So I had a really chill time compared to last time where I was just like
frost attack meant you had a chill time.
yeah. Compared to last time where I just had like lines and lines of people like going from one end of the room to the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. I just got to walk around, and it was nice having a reasonable amount of people coming up to you and doing the card game thing. It was like
you weren't a level 1 zombie.
No, I wasn't a level 1 zombie. I wasn't just swarmed with people. And there was a guy, I think maybe you, Paul, might have met him as well, who was just farming people.
I had a few people coming back and forth. We're just going round, and then they would do like a loop and then come back, loop and come back. I had heaps of fun being a boss as well.
Who are you?
I was a Lyra.
Lyra, nice. Okay.
And it was pretty similar deal because I had like 1 fire attack or something.
Yeah.
On top of the 2 regular attack, and that was just enough.
First day just makes it a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Did you meet any memorable fan moments? Any that you can talk about, I guess.
I don't have specific ones. I spent quite a while just chatting with people though.
Yeah.
Because I ended up doing the card game thing for all the second day just because I enjoyed doing it on the first day. A lot of it was just playing cards interaction. Like people would come up and they were only really interested in the card side of things.
Yeah.
Which is fair because like the card game itself is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then when things would quieten down, people would come over and just start chatting.
Nice. I know that you went to the VIP dinner.
Yeah. That was really cool. It was. I was worried about answering questions that are like way too above my pay grade, I guess, or like just way too in depth
gameplay.
Yeah. But luckily, I sat next to Mark 1 again, who answered all those because almost everything in any very technical
gameplay
thing. He was like, "Oh, I worked on that." Yeah. Like he's just done it all, so it was great. And I got to talk just about the stuff that I work on, and just like anything else too complicated, Mark just took care of. Yeah. It was great. It was great talking.
That's the best way to do it. If you're not a game designer or a gameplay programmer, those conversations can be hard to navigate, and if you are one of those, you're just going to spend your time answering questions.
Yeah. Because there's a pressure I feel going into those because you don't want to disappoint people.
Yeah.
You know?
They expect you to know everything about as much about the game as they do or more. Because they play it so much and then you work on it. The assumption is you must know all these things. I don't even know yet. But the truth is you work on a specific part of the game.
Yeah.
You probably know way more about how the environments are set up.
Yep.
You probably know a lot of the technical details about textures and lighting.
It was good. I got to like talk about like, I remember they asked me like, oh, what was like one of the hardest areas to work on?
Yeah.
And in PoE 2, because at the time we couldn't talk about PoE, in PoE 1, I mean, because at the time we couldn't talk about 2 because it was not shown yet. And I told them that it was an area that they might not think was actually very difficult.
I want to try and guess.
Okay.
Paul, do you have any guesses?
I feel like maybe Delve.
Oh, Delve was easy.
I think maybe this is a tricky one. My thoughts are like maybe it's got to be somewhere that's kind of plain.
Well,
but,
here's
weirdly arranged.
Here's the thing: it's not something that's technically difficult.
Yeah,
but more thematically difficult.
Thematically difficult. Oh, that's a good clue. Okay. Thematically difficult. I'm trying to blank here. I would say the ossuary.
No, that was very easy. That was all very a load of bones. Like
bones.
It just the ideas just flow from that.
Come on, give it. The Temple of Innocence.
No.
Okay.
That was also quite easy. It was just like a cathedral, and the ideas just flow.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I keep trying to think of the ones that would be like complicated for some weird reason.
It's not like
the aqueducts.
Not really. I had an easier time. So it's Templar Courts.
I almost said Templar Courts. I almost said Torched Courts specifically.
Well, I mean, Torch Courts was it was really Templar Courts. Torch Courts was just done second, and I just added a load of like burning stuff. But Templar Courts was difficult
working on that,
thematically because when we first laid it out, it was a bunch of offices and it's a lawyer's office.
Yeah,
it's a lawyer building.
Yeah,
and it took me like a couple of weeks to like find some sort of hook to be like, this makes this area interesting.
Yeah.
And the thing that like I landed on was I was spending like days just looking for references and being like, how do you make a courtroom interesting?
Yeah.
And then I saw a shot from one of the Harry Potter movies of Harry Potter sitting on this chair, and way above him at this like judge's desk is like someone towering over him. And I was like, that's it. It's like all these like giant judge things, and making the person like in front feel as small as possible. And once I figured that, the whole area just like came together. Because before that, it was literally like offices, like had been set up with all these doors that led into rooms that had a desk and bookshelves.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is boring.
Yeah, from a gameplay standpoint, that's extremely boring.
And I was like, this is just not working.
Doors.
It's all the fun of prison cells, but you can't even see what's in the cells until you go there.
And it was me and Dan, who was the level designer on it, spent like weeks trying to figure out how do we make this interesting.
Yeah.
And then once we landed on that, it was like it all just clicked.
Yeah.
And that was the hardest area.
Yeah. I think that became the haunted house tile set, haunted mansion as well, right?
I think it
did.
You
modified it.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah.
Wood paneling and stuff.
Yeah.
And now that's one of my favorite tile sets because
you know about the painting.
I told you to do that painting thing.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
didn't I?
Maybe you did. Maybe you did.
I think what I said was, I think you had done some creepy paintings, and I said, wouldn't it be cool if we used like if we had some way to transition?
I think you did.
The two?
Yes.
And we have one way to transition is the height.
Roof fade.
Roof fade.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing because it's something that, like you wouldn't think that. It's a way of using a system in a completely different thing.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, I was talking to the Josiah, who was on the last podcast.
Yeah.
He was the level designer on that. I was talking to him about how do we make this happen. It was like, do we go and talk to like one of the programmers to like have some kind of fade thing? And then I was like, well, all we need is like basically two panels, one behind the other, and one just fades
away.
Yeah, and if it's basically the same image, just like with something different on it, and they line up, you don't even like.
Don't notice it.
Yeah, and so we tested it, and we're like, this works exactly how we want. Let's just use this. Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, I remember. I when I think about that, I think about that as one of like the defining characteristics of like cross departmental ideation coming to fruition. Like I'm pretty sure you had done these great
I did
these paintings, and I said it would be really cool if we like in a haunted house they changed as you got closer or whatever, and then you talked to level design and they had a way to do it, and those three steps. It was
great. Yeah,
and it looks fantastic. It's a subtle thing that like I still occasionally have seen players go, oh, "Did you guys know?"
I know, it's a cool thing. Every once in a while, it pops up on Reddit and they're like, "Oh, how long has this been in?"
Yeah.
It's like the entire time. There's also a story to it that did sort of fall apart at the end. But
for the family,
the family and stuff. And what the idea was that the boss of that map was supposed to be the father.
Yeah. But
the monster is actually like completely different looking than
I think it's the elder.
Is it? Oh no, the elder. Yeah, because you see the elder there, but no, at the final. In the boss arena, there's like a dead body, and I think that was supposed to be the father,
right?
But it's just some old Templar guy.
I think. I think what we had also talked about was, this is where we came. We had talked about having a corridor of these paintings, leading into the boss chamber, that would change as you're walking through, and that was we discovered would be impossible with the implementation.
Yeah, they would all sort of.
And I think we even talked about having the boss step out of the painting.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be.
Which
I mean, that would be possible, but that's the whole. I mean, now you're involving more departments.
Yes, exactly. And at this point, we were just trying to get stuff out the door.
Yeah. Because part of the reason that we ended up on the roof fade thing is that I was like, I don't want to bother other departments.
Yeah.
To do this one very specific thing for a map that, like, I'm sure they're working on, like, MTXs or whatever that.
Yeah. Still. I just love how that turned out.
It was good. It was really good. It was one of my favorite areas to work on, too. Because it had an indoor-outdoor thing as well. Like, you had this, like, basement thing, and it was just cool.
The Labyrinth courtyard.
Yeah.
Tile set plus the courtyard, the Templar court tile set. I think those are the two, and you sort of meld them together.
Yeah. It's cool.
The way you guys worked was very impressive. I think kit bashing is what you guys refer to it as, but you could get a lot of new content out of existing assets. And tile sets, and
we always try to think of that when we make new stuff, even for PoE, especially like even more so with PoE 2. When we make new stuff, we like sit down and think, okay, how do we like create this in a way that's like kind of modular so that we can like reuse stuff. Yeah.
I've heard some amazing stories about like kit bashing things where it's just like a bunch of random objects thrown together and all of a sudden you have like an MTX.
Yeah.
And it looks cool.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was just jammed together from like a bunch of someone's like painting using
There's loads of times
there's
loads of times that the designers will come to us and be like, we need like a bunch of MTXs made and here's some like ideas. And it's just, can you make them? And we'll just be like, all right, we'll see what we got. And then we'll just put stuff together. And
I love that.
And we'll use like monster parts and stuff as well and all this sort of things. Like there was Sin's Portal. I made that. And I made it out of like basically just his back wings.
Right.
Yeah. It was cool. Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
You guys got other stuff to talk about from Exilecon? Like I had only attended the first half of the first day because families are a thing.
It was fun, but like it was actually like quite tiring. I left halfway through the after party because
it's very unusual for you because you're usually going to stay all the way through if there's free drinks involved.
I know. Well, I had one free drink.
Oh yeah.
Well, I had a couple drinks, but I was dead on my feet, really.
Yeah.
Like I was
wrecked as well.
Yeah, I was so tired, and I thought I'll just like leave.
Were you sick the following week, either of you?
Not the following week. So my partner Stacey got sick on like the Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so I worked from home from there, and then like 3 days after she got sick, I got COVID.
Oh,
she had COVID.
Yeah.
She would have got it. Did you think did she get it from?
She would have got it from Exilecon, and I for sure got it from her because I got it like 3 days afterwards.
Yeah. I was so terrified of getting sick that I was taking like I don't know if it helps, but mentally I feel like it did. These pills called Immunofort.
Immunofort.
And it's just like immune boosting.
That sounds like a scam.
It does. It for sure sounds like a scam. You know what helps you not get sick though? Not working like 120 plus hours and
not wearing yourself down to But hey, I didn't get sick, so could be a placebo, but hey, it's working.
Well, some other things have happened since Exilecon. Games have come out.
Well, yes, but also you have vastly overtaken us in X4 now. You are like an empire rivaling like.
I have an empire larger than most of the other empires. I have fewer stations, but my stations are much larger, and I own more systems.
Oh my god! My god!
Well, we don't need to talk about that.
No.
The thing about X4 is I've hit a point I think where like it was a struggle to get to the point where I could build ships.
Yep.
And that was like a big goal of mine.
Oh yeah.
And then once I could start building like small and medium ships.
Yeah.
My income accelerated quite a lot.
Oh wow.
Because they can like other factions will buy those ships for you at a premium.
Oh wow, cool.
And then I started pumping out like ship factories essentially.
Yep.
And the fun level had dropped off.
Yep.
Because
I get you.
At that point, I could do most of the things I want to do.
Yeah.
Like the terraforming stuff, for example. is mostly just waiting for my ships to harvest materials.
I see.
And
what is the end game then?
That is the terraforming.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, there's quests and stuff.
Yeah.
I did the full quest line for the Tides of Avarice expansion. Okay. And that was fine.
Yeah.
I think the quests are probably the weakest part of that game. I mean, there's a few weak parts about X4. There's some really cool parts. I like how robust the economic stuff is, but it also seems like it doesn't have a huge, like, your actions can have an impact on other things, but there's no dynamic, like, fighting or like factional squabbling or anything like that. So it's just more like you're playing only the economy. You're not playing the economy and the society.
The politics.
You know what I mean? Yeah. There's no politicking.
Yeah.
Which, if it had that, it would be a much better game. It would be harder. Like, I think of Mountain Blade, where that game, you have like a period where you're kind of building up your forces. You start capturing some castles, and then in the back end they flick a switch, and suddenly you're a possible target for all these factions. All these other factions.
Yeah.
And that's when the game like really starts to heat up. And they just don't have that. So you build up to this point where it feels like you should be considered a rival.
Yeah.
But you never are. And then it's just like, I guess I'm just making money for the sake of making money.
Yeah. What you described sounds a lot like the way that survival games go.
Yes.
You know, like it's all building up to something, and you're like, this is great. I can't wait till I get to like this goal I've set for myself.
Yep.
And then when you get to that goal, you're kind of like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
And there's usually nothing.
Yeah. There's also the way ship combat works. Like if you're just a solo in a ship, it's really fun, especially if it's just like a smaller medium ship.
Yep.
Anything larger than a smaller medium ship, they become very unwieldy to control, and so
very boring to fight with as well. Like last time I played, I got like a big behemoth, which I think is a
large.
Yeah. And I was like, this is going to be amazing. And first it's slow.
Yes.
So I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And then like getting it into combat is just like park in the middle of a dogfight, basically,
and let the turrets
let all the auto turrets go, and I'm just sitting there going,
I tried to call one in for like reinforcement, and even that was a pain.
Yeah,
because it was slow to get, like, because I had like a difficult dogfight sort of thing going on in the sector, and I had just gotten one of those massive ships. It was like, I'll bring in like the big guns.
Yeah.
And
it took so long. I don't even think it helped.
Yeah, they
it
also
was so painful.
Yeah, they get caught on like their drones and stuff. Like,
what a hassle.
Like, there's just weird collision stuff.
Yeah.
I think my current game, which I haven't played in maybe a month or so, basically since Exilecon.
Yeah,
I guess. I had about 200 large ships.
Wow.
Like 200 of those behemoths in a fleet.
Holy hell.
And the best way to like play that game at that point is to do it. Just park your small ship somewhere, put your set of drive on so everything's going like 5 times normal speed.
Yeah.
And then like essentially play it like a slow RTS.
Oh my god.
You're
your
fleet, and you're just kind of moving it around.
Are you just looking at
over
it
system remotely?
Oh my god. So you're just looking at it from the
map.
From the map. Yeah.
So that's to me is a big flaw. I would love it if combat was much more dynamic and interesting, and that the politics were involved. Like that.
I mean, the politics would add such a great layer for when you do get to a point where, okay, these capital ships, they are, I guess they are actually boring. Because even if you think of like Star Wars, right? If you're on the bridge of a capital ship, it would be boring. Yeah. Like all the guns are just firing auto and stuff like that. It's the stuff in the X-Wings that is the most fun. So once you get to that level, doing politicking stuff, because you'd be so established by then, doing politicking stuff would be like something that fills that gap, maybe.
There are other issues. The ship AI, like the allied AI or enemy AI, is real simple, and not very good.
Yeah. They would often run off and get themselves killed, and I would hate that.
Yeah, unless you're doing anything like besides just manually controlling them, they're going to do the wrong thing.
Yeah. I was always turning them off from, because you can set them to like attack anything in the vicinity or just follow me.
Yeah.
And I was constantly switching them between like just follow me and like attack stuff, because I'd see one would be in a dogfight and I'd be like, great, I've defeated all these enemies, and then I look on the map and one is like hooning towards like a mass of ships, and I'm like, no, come back here, follow me.
Van Dun!
I'm attacking everything. I got you.
One thing I think would really benefit is if during dogfights, like you're controlling your small and medium ships or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing you can do is like you fly around and then your ship blows up and you can teleport to another ship.
Yeah.
But that how it happens. You have to do that manually.
Right.
And it's real fiddly.
Yeah.
It would be great if you could set it up so it's like, I'm in a fight. I want to fly these small ships. When my ship, when the ship I'm in blows up, I just want to automatically teleport to the next closest ship. So that, like,
yeah, so you've always got
So you could have these big exciting dogfights, feel like you're in control, target things strategically, and not have this like, oh, my ship's blown up. Okay, map.
Yep.
Find a good ship, teleport, wait for the thing to teleport, load in. Like if that all happened dynamically, that would be like a really fun system.
Yeah.
So that game has issues. Oh, and they also hint at like politics that just never comes to fruition. The Heretics End area, which is where your player HQ is. If you build a defense platform in that area, so let's take a step back. If you build a defense platform in an area where there isn't a defense platform, you will claim ownership over that area, and that allows you to set laws and do all sorts of stuff. It seems kind of pointless, to be perfectly frank. Like, I don't really know why you want to set up laws.
Yeah, I know, right? Like,
doesn't really benefit you generally, as far as I can tell. But then, if you do this in Heretics End, you get mail. It's like a news update from some faction saying, "Oh, the Heretics End was considered neutral for a really long time, and now this guy has gone and claimed it. He's gonna sure regret that." And I'm like, "Cool."
Yeah.
Nothing happens. When am I going to regret it? Oh,
anytime.
Maybe when you download a mod.
Yeah.
And you'll regret it then.
Yeah.
It's just it's got some really cool stuff. It's a good framework. I think it's saved mostly by the mods, which I've never engaged with. But I tend to want to play and judge games based on what comes in the box.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of room for growth there.
Yeah.
But I also want to talk about Baldur's Gate.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Paul, have you got Baldur's Gate?
Yes. So the me getting COVID after Exilecon,
perfect.
I spent like a week just playing that game.
Yeah.
Well, for as long as I could before. The headache got too bad.
Yeah.
I got up to like Act 2.
Okay.
Fairly early into
You're definitely further than me.
I'm not quite up to Act 2. But I'm being very thorough about Act 1.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Have you gotten off that first map yet? I can't remember if I.
Is that not the start of Act 2?
No.
Oh, well then no. I'm still on the first map.
Okay.
I thought.
Well, that's what I thought as well.
I thought, okay, so I've seen like I could go to the mountain pass.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That's not Act 2.
That's not Act 2?
That's still Act 1. Pretty big,
It's very exciting for me.
Because that's what I thought. I thought like,
very excited.
So I did everything. Like in that first map, and then I did end up going to the mountain pass.
Yeah.
Because it like
we should give some spoiler warnings.
Okay. Yeah. So. How much are we gonna spoil? Because
we'll try to avoid specific story spoilers. We'll probably talk about locations and items and quests.
Yeah. I don't know. Where do you start with this game?
I want to start with how much I love how multifaceted every encounter is and can be. And I talked to Blake about this earlier, but I went. The very first thing you see basically after you get off of the Nautiloid ship, is this crypt. Like it's this locked crypt.
Yep.
And you can completely bypass it, and you can miss out on something that's quite important in there. A person. You're giving me blank stares.
I am. I think I missed out on the person, but I definitely went in there, so I may have.
This is very exciting.
Gone down another.
This is very exciting.
Another situation entirely.
Okay, so do you know who Withers is?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So he's in there.
Oh, okay.
Right,
yeah.
and you can completely miss him, which is just cool.
Oh, interesting. Yep.
Did you miss him or did you?
No, I got him.
Oh, okay.
I didn't remember that I got him from there.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I went into that place guns blazing.
Yeah.
Because my strategy in this game.
Wait! Your version has guns.
Wow. Eldritch beam guns.
So the spells. Some of the spells do feel very.
You went in Eldritch blasting.
Yeah. Eldritch blast does feel like a awesome laser shot.
Yeah.
It feels like a force push or something.
It's such a cool really it's such a cool effect.
But just that first dungeon. Okay, the ways you could get in there. You could pick that first door you see.
Yep.
You could go up top and like talk to some people and they can let you in. Or you can knock down a big stone block and break the roof. Or you can enter a different door there. Or you can go down the side and there's a little hatch. There's 5 different ways to get into.
You can probably talk your way in too.
You can talk your way in. I've talked my way in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I unsuccessfully talked my way in before the Eldritch blasts.
Yeah. So there's like 5 or 6 different ways, at least that we can think of.
And the encounter at the very beginning of that, where there's a group of people.
Yeah.
There's several different ways to.
What's interesting is that was the end encounter for me.
Oh wow!
Because I went in through the hatch. The way I played it is like, oh, there's a little side path over here. Oh, it revealed a hatch. I can lockpick this hatch. I'll go down.
Oh wow!
And then like I'm in this room. There's like some dead skeleton people.
That's amazing. You went like
walking. I found Withers.
Yeah.
I sort of worked my way back. I found like this room full of traps.
Yeah.
And then I went off to the side, and then I'm in this room, and I could hear someone on the other side of the door going, "How do we open this door? I don't even see a lock." I'm like, I'm gonna light these 2 torches, and the door opens up.
Oh wow!
And she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill him!"
Wow. See, that's fascinating. I've played through that probably 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah.
And I've never had that experience of going backwards through the dungeon.
Yeah. So this is what I love about this game. It is thorough in its ways that the players can engage with it. It really says, and I suspect this was a rule of theirs during development. It's like you have to have a minimum of 3 or ways to engage with any individual scenario.
Yep.
And it's really exciting, and it feels like tabletop D&D for that reason, where you have this breadth of options. You choose one not knowing what the repercussions will be, and you in theory you play with those repercussions going forward. I know a lot of people save scum. I'm fine with that. I kind of have done it a little bit.
I do it a lot. I save scum in any game that allows me to do so, and I do not like it. Yeah, but I will not stop.
Yeah, that's my thing as well. I've
Well, when you say save scum, do you mean you reload a result that you don't like? Or you're just saving every? Oh, I definitely do.
I will do that occasionally.
I definitely hit save every couple of seconds because I just don't want to have to something happened and I die and then it's last time I saved was half an hour ago.
And it can be very punishing in terms of how much time you lose.
Yeah.
If you've done a bunch of conversations,
the autosave is very infrequent.
Yeah.
So I'm hitting save constantly, even in conversations.
I won't reroll. I won't reload a save for a dice check that failed.
Yeah.
But for combat,
I
will repeat fights 20 times if I need to.
Well, combat is different because if you die, you have to reload anyway.
And some of the fights are big and slow, and
so
you can get out of fights.
Yeah,
you can literally
I'm not
run
willing to do that. I will save scum instead. I will fight until everyone dies and then we reload.
There have been a few places where I have save scummed. The spoilers, so don't if you haven't done Act 1.
Should we just say we potentially can spoil anything on the first map.
Yeah, but I don't even know what that area is called.
Well,
whatever. The one
wherever
with
the one with the druids and the goblins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hag.
Yep.
The like fights leading up to her, and then the fight with her. I save scum to that a few times because, and this is my own issue. I'm aware that there are going to be repercussions for whatever the outcome will be.
Yeah.
And the problem is I care.
Yeah.
Like if I kill her or if I don't, there's going to be a different outcome. If I save Marissa or whatever that character's woman's name is, or I don't, there's going to be different outcomes. Or the brothers, although they died, and that's fine. So there are certain times where I might do a little bit of Googling and be like, okay, I can see of these like things that I care about. I actually care about this one the most.
Well, then, to be fair, I have literally started. I played for a week, and I literally restarted my entire game.
Yeah.
Because I did that exact thing where I did a bit of Googling and realized I've made a terrible decision, and I need to restart the entire game.
Was it someone you killed?
It was starting off my first playthrough playing the Dark Urge.
Oh, right, yes.
And something happened suddenly, and I was shocked and was like, oh shit, is this gonna, like, how bad could this Dark Urge thing get? So I did a little bit of Googling and said, I don't want to play like this.
I have no idea what the Dark Urge thing is.
It's like a serial killer.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's, from Googling, it's recommended by players that it's not your first playthrough.
Okay. Yeah. I can see how. I get pretty murdery, though.
But not like this.
Okay.
Not like that.
Yeah. I will say, I want to get over that hump of caring about the repercussions, because it's also a game where I'm having a really good time.
Yeah.
I think I want to play it again.
Yeah.
I want to play it again with like my wife or with other people. Like I want to play it. I'm playing a solo. But I think it's a game that I would really want to do co-op at some point and have a different experience.
I feel like something like that would be quite good, because then you can, whatever the outcomes are, it's not just on you, right? Like it's like, now this is our.
It's a group.
It's what we agreed on.
Yeah. Or
we're gonna live with the consequences.
My crazy buddy the murder hope. Excuse me. Has decided to do.
Yeah.
I've been playing a multiplayer game where our main talker of the group is pretty much role playing as this like lawful good paladin.
Yeah.
And he's made his character look like Arthas from Warcraft before he turned into the Lich King. But he's playing it where like he basically, any evil, like something that looks like a monster, he'll just flat out want to kill. So when we first went into the goblin camp and we started talking to the what's her name? That shaman woman, that witch goblin that's there.
Yep.
A Gut?
Yes, Gut, yeah. And she has quite a lot of dialogue and quite a lot of information.
Yeah.
He's just like straight away being like, I'm not listening to you, you filthy goblin. And we're like, what are you doing? And he's like, I have no choice. I'm a paladin. And so like, he's just getting us into all these fights. And it got to a point where I was like, okay, I have no problem talking to like evil characters. I'll talk to things that look like monsters, and you talk to things that look like nice, upstanding people.
Yeah. Although, this game does like to play on that a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Well, the fact that you can talk to the goblins. The goblins aren't just like straight up enemies.
Depends on what race you are, though, right?
I don't know.
Maybe. I'm playing as a drow.
Yeah, so am I.
Well, and the goblins are just automatically...
They'll chill. They'll just talk to you like... You can just go into that place.
Yeah, I walked into the blighted village or whatever, and they're just like, you look fine, go on in.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's interesting.
What are you doing above ground?
Yeah.
Go on in.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because I still get the option to talk to them, but it's like, oh, look what we got. New blood or guts whatever. To like murder, you know? But you can still talk your way through it, you know?
Yeah. I don't know who I killed in that goblin camp.
Yeah.
But I killed someone, and I got marked with this thing that's like, enemy of justice.
Oh.
And now every goblin is hostile to me.
Oh no!
And so I had to go back through and kill everybody in the blighted village, everybody in the camp.
Wow!
Everyone's dead.
Wow! You can.
Yeah, I definitely purged those goblins on my way out.
Yeah.
They let me in. I went through, did a full explore.
Yeah.
Found some stuff I wanted.
Yeah.
And then murder your way out.
I murdered my entire way out.
Yeah.
Me too. You can.
There was a quest.
There's several different outcomes there though. Like because you when you find the druid that's there, this is 100% spoilers now. When you find that druid that's there, he will tell you Halsin, he will tell you, oh, get rid of these leaders, right?
Yes.
However, if you have accidentally, in my case, told one of the leaders where the druid enclave is, he says like, they're already marching. We're gonna have to like go back to the druid thing and stop this massive march.
That's cool.
And so the first time I played through it, like half the goblins had left that ruin where the camp where they're hanging out. And it started this whole like thing with the druids where I had to go back to the druids, and they were like, "Oh, we're all prepared for these goblins to show up," and then like this massive ass battle happens.
I'm gonna spoil something.
Yeah.
I happen to know that I think her name is Minthara or Minot. There's a drow. One of the drow leaders there is a drow.
Yeah.
She's a playable character.
I know.
I found this out recently.
And that means that like you can help her.
Oh yeah,
destroy the druids.
Well, during
that could be your story from that point
forward. During that fight where the goblins were attacking, she literally says to me like, okay, now is when you backstab the druids, basically. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But it's an option. You can 100% just do it and just side with them. Yeah. And in this game, another multiplayer game I'm playing. We're doing a full evil run, so we're 100% going to side with the goblins and have her. We're going to use her as our because there's three of us, so we've got a fourth NPC spot. She's going to be our NPC.
Nice.
And I'm looking and that massively changes my entire
the complete.
Are we just going to be getting like quests related from them now? Like I don't know. It's amazing. It's a whole different game.
It's a very very impressive game.
Yeah.
And I'm just loving the exploration as well. Like
it really rewards you for exploration.
Yes.
Like that thing with withers, right? Like if you were not exploration minded, you just miss them.
You just don't get withers.
Yeah, you just don't get them.
The thing is, it reminds me in the best way of Morrowind. In that, very important things are marked on the map, and you can use the map for those things. But like a lot of the stuff you're going to really want to find, you find through reading and through like memory and like checking your quest log and like reading the details and making sure that you're like really simple example in the Blighted Village. Basement of one of the houses, you can find some like blueprints for a weapon. Yeah, and then you have to find some bark from like the Susur tree in the Underdark.
Yep.
In order to actually do that quest, you have to follow the instructions that are on the blueprints.
Oh, really?
You don't. There's nothing like that's telling you you've got all the stuff. Go do the thing. In order to
I didn't even realize that.
You need like the bark.
Yeah.
You need the blueprints, and then you need to have like a basic one of 3 types of weapon.
Oh wow!
And if you don't read those things, you're just never gonna like advance that.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
I went and found the bark, and then by the time I'd found it, I was like, there's this other thing I want to do. So I'm just like in Act 2 now with this Act 1 quest, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make it to do that.
Yeah, I'm still in Act 1. I'm being very thorough. I've done like everything in the Sword Coast area, whatever that first area is, the Nautilus area.
Yep.
And I'm like finishing off the Underdark area.
Was there anything
Some very cool stuff?
Anything in particular that made you feel smart for like figuring something out in a particular way?
Yeah, a few things.
Yeah.
In the Underdark, there's the Arcane Tower.
Okay.
We done the Arcane Tower.
I haven't been there.
Yeah, I think so.
And you can.
Yeah.
There's like an elevator.
I don't remember the elevator.
So at the back of the tower. When you get there...
Oh, yeah. That's how I got down.
Oh, you went down the mushrooms?
Yes.
Yeah, I did that too. And then at the back, there's like a tree with these Susur flowers.
Shit, I don't remember well enough.
Okay, so you had COVID.
I did have COVID at the time.
You were in delirium.
Yeah. I remember flashes of color. I remember
Some explosions,
a lot of
for
coughing. So there's like this, spoilers, by the way. I'm just gonna keep saying it.
Yeah.
There's like this device at the basement of this tower, and there's like pedals on the ground, and it's pretty heavily hinting of what you're meant to do. But you can put the Sucer flowers that you find at the back inside of this thing, and it powers up the whole tower.
Oh wow!
And then that gives you access to like the upper floors. And then there's like at the top of the tower, there's this NPC who only speaks to you in quotes from plays.
Oh, whoa.
And in order to respond, you have to have read specific books throughout the tower.
Oh,
and
wow.
It doesn't
That's
tell
so
you
cool.
what the outcomes from those quotes are going to be, but if you've read the plays, you know the context for the quotes, and you can guess what the outcomes are.
Oh, wow.
I missed this for sure.
It's really cool. And it's all like, it's very D&D. Here's a bunch of information. You parse the information. You can make educated guesses of what the outcomes will be based on the information you've been parsing. And and there's still like dice rolls and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's, and then like we do all this, and like you get surprises, and then there's like still a secret at the end of that, like where you can then go back down, and there's like a door that you may have missed earlier on that has like a bunch of stuff behind it. And
there was something in that that goblin camp, right? The entrance to the Underdark. There was like a puzzle that you had to solve with
oh yes.
moons.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you can only solve that by reading like a journal, or it's like vaguely mentioned of like something. I can't remember it because I read it once and now I just know how to do it.
So you don't have to read the journal. I solved it by looking at the environment and figuring out like there was a beam of light on the circle. But then when I was clearing out the goblin camp, I found this journal on one of the goblin bodies.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I just love it. There's so many ways. Even that temple area. There are so many ways to get inside that temple area. Did you know that there's like an access? If you go up the very top of like that temple courtyard, you can break through a wall.
Yeah. I tried for so long breaking it down. Like I couldn't do it.
And then did you try a blunt weapon?
Yes, I couldn't do it.
Really?
Even with a blunt weapon, I wasn't doing enough damage.
Maybe high strength character or something?
I tried my highest strength character, and it wasn't going anywhere.
I just gave like a great hammer to Karlach, and she just beat the crap out of it.
I didn't have her at the time. Oh. Maybe that was why.
How did you not have Karlach?
I didn't get her until I'd done the goblins and the druids.
I got her really early, and apparently I read some article recently saying, "Oh, some player found a way to get her early." That's how I got her.
Wow!
But I jumped across the river.
Oh, you went across the because normally the way I you jumped across because you go to the Blighted Village and then you jump across the bridge.
No.
How did you get it?
Before you even get to the Blighted Village, there's like a river, and you can hop across the stones and double back.
Oh my god, that's amazing!
This is what I'm saying. This game's great
because like leading up to along that bridge. Yeah. You jump over that bridge. There's these like hyenas, I think, that are like, if you went there early and you're like level 2 or something, those things will just wreck you.
Yeah. I went there early and I just avoided that.
Wow, dude, that's amazing. Yeah,
it's very good. That game is very good.
That's so cool.
I'm excited to talk a lot more about it. The problem is we're basically out of time, and there's a lot more I can and would say about that game.
All right. Well, we'll talk more next week about it. But I will say it's like. You talk about how it has that D&D feel. Like it absolutely 100% has that feel way more than any other D&D game I played. Like we were raving about Pathfinder.
Yeah.
But this is like next level, really. Like Pathfinder is awesome, but it is very linear.
Yes.
Like I've tried playing through that again and I just can't because it's like it's the same thing. But I have played through that first sort of quarter of when you get to the druids and the goblins and stuff. I played with that like four times now, and it's been different every time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's great. Really like it.
It's cool. Oh, before we go though, what class and character and race are you?
So I read recently that like no one plays cleric.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
The thing is, I rolled a cleric on my first play. Like when I first started the game, I was like, I'm gonna be a cleric.
Yep.
Because I like clerics. And when I noticed the first character you get is a cleric, I was like, okay, maybe I won't. So I went with Bard.
You could. Here's another thing. What if you just missed her?
I was wondering that too. I was thinking, what if you don't free her?
You could just.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
Yeah,
but the thing crashes and you meet a bunch of characters that were also in the ship. So presumably they will get her out somehow. That's my guess.
She must show up somewhere else.
That's my guess. But hey, let's find out.
Yeah.
Should we do a playthrough together?
Yeah.
Is this happening?
It'll take a long time though, right?
Huh?
It's like quite a big.
It's huge, and then we have to play at organized times.
It's tough, dude. I've got 2 multiplayer groups going, and trying to organize. Yeah, it's well, I mean, I don't know. You guys' availability might be better than my friends. Like we were going to play after this podcast, but then it's like, well, no, one person can't make it, so
no.
Okay.
Well, maybe we'll figure it out. But
yeah, it'd be fun though.
It would be. But anyway, what? So you're not playing a cleric.
I'm playing a druid. I'm a bard. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm playing a drow bard.
Oh, okay.
With a charlatan background.
Oh, neat. Yeah, that's cool. What's your instrument?
Lyre, I think.
That's cool.
Maybe it was it's the harp one.
Yep.
And I talked to Blake about this earlier. Bards are not very good at combat, and that's fine because they're very good at everything else.
Yeah, they're really good at everything else.
So he's got 19 charisma, and he gets double proficiency from persuasion and deception checks. I regularly roll 30 plus on those. It's got great sleight of hand, so I'm lockpicking everything.
Oh, that's so cool. And Bard gets a lot of cool conversation choices as well.
Yes, tons. So many things. There's sing a song.
Did you talk to Volo in the Goblin camp?
Yep.
Did you because you get loads of bardic options with him, and it's basically just
you can show him up, and he gets really upset.
Yeah.
And then the goblins are like, you've broken him.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah. So I'm really enjoying. Basically, he's my talkie character.
Yep.
And then everyone else does the combat.
Yep. I feel I don't know what a game would be like where a single player game where you aren't the talking character.
That's a good question. So the thing is, you could choose any of your characters to take over and play as. Basically.
But it'll be I don't know, to me I've always played a talking high charisma. I'm playing a tiefling sorcerer, so I've got high charisma anyway.
Who are you playing as?
Drow Warlock.
Interesting. Another charisma one.
Yeah. Also quite high charisma. And deception. Really high deception.
Yeah.
I just convince people I'm doing whatever, and then find a better position for my dudes, and then do some murdering.
It's very interesting that you and I are both Drow, and I've seen a lot of other people who are Drow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then, from what I know of past indie games, they weren't an option.
I don't know.
Are they just not? Something seemed cool.
I wasn't sure.
Are they just rare or something? I don't know, because I felt the same about Tiefling when I have the choice of Tiefling. I'm like, that's a cool thing.
Yeah. Tiefling would probably be my second choice, but I hadn't seen Drow much, so I wanted to try something I hadn't heard much about.
Yeah.
And then had all these different backgrounds. Are you super racist or only a little bit racist?
Yeah.
I think I'm only a little bit, actually, this time.
This time.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time we'll be super racist.
Yeah, maybe in our next playthrough we'll all be super racist Drow.
With really low charisma.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that, because talking about playing a low charisma character in way back in the day when me and my friends were playing Neverwinter Nights, the single player game Neverwinter Nights. One of my mates made an orc warrior, and he minimized all his stats, and put them all into strength, and he could not actually have a conversation. His character just grunted. So there'd be whole quests that he just can't get because he literally can't
he can
talk.
bash his way through anything.
Yeah. And I was like, I've never seen a game that has that.
That just last little thing. Did you guys get the war horn from the Blighted Village?
Yep.
Yes.
I really loved that.
Yeah.
I haven't used it yet, but I just love that whole interaction of like the...
It is very cool.
Grug the Enlightened or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Like, great game.
I used that to escape the goblin place.
Oh, yeah. I probably should have done that. That was a hard fight.
Well, the goblin place. So this is something I did in my last playthrough after... This is like the 4th time I've gone through there.
Yeah.
Which I'd never noticed before. But do you know how you get that toxin from that woman?
Yeah.
I was going through that goblin camp, and I noticed there's a grog, like trough, and they're going up to there and taking like they're actually like taking like drinks out of it. Their animation is that they actually take it, and I was like, huh. I wonder if I can do this. So I got Astarion to sneak over there, click on it, and this thing comes up, this combined menu, and I was like, I'll put that in there, and it plays this whole cutscene and this whole new interaction.
Oh my god!
And it's got like
amazing.
They like you basically encourage everyone to have a toast, and then you have like a load of this of like roles to be like, how do you want to like? Do you just drink it, or do you like sleight of hand it, or do you like do something else? Like there's this whole thing.
Amazing. All right. What a great game.
Yeah.
All right. Let's all go and play it. All right. Thanks, guys. Nice seeing you again. It's been too long.
It's good.
If you want, and listener, thanks for listening. It's been too long. If you want to email us or ask questions or tell us what race and character you are in Baldur's Gate 3.
And how racist they
are. Put the headline as Blake Y. FriendlyQuestions@gmail.com. We'll be back hopefully in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks. Love you. Bye. It's the wankiest thing, and my wife and I joke about it all the time, but we'd say that I'm an ideas guy.
I was just
it's the worst.
I know, right? I remember when I was first getting into video games.
Yeah.
Like I would go to like websites that are looking for like freelance people or something, and there'd be people on there being like, "Yeah, I'm an ideas guy, and I need someone to like make this entire game for me."
Yeah.
You know, and you could have like 11% of the profits or something.
Yeah. There is room for that, but I think you have to have spent time in the trenches, so for your ideas to have any concrete value.
Yeah, you can't just be some guy that's just like never worked in the.
What about a game with like a system where you have like one gun, but you can turn it into any gun you want, and it's all made out of Lego, and you pick up all the Lego pieces.
Oh my god!
It's me trying to brainstorm like the worst things to implement. In terms of implementation time.
That's the thing. Like, an idea is worth nothing unless you know how to build it.
Yeah.
And
it's people that say that unironically that I'm an ideas guy are people who have just like absolute no knowledge of how video games are made at all.
I think there's two kinds of people. There's that kind of person, and then like there's the people who have worked their way up to like the executive level.
Yeah.
and have, like they've taken all the necessary steps, and they do actually understand the workflow.
Yeah.
And now they understand the best way to make the money from the idea.
Yeah.
Like
but when you say like when you there's two different things. Like when someone who doesn't know anything about games says I'm an ideas guy, they have a completely different idea of what that means.
Yes.
Compared to someone like you who has gone through all that stuff, and you can unironically say
I'm an ideas
guy.
It reminds
me. Well, the difference is
ironic
it is to say that.
The difference is that push came to shove, you could also do the work.
Yeah. At an ad agency, a digital agency in Sydney, just before I got my job at GGG.
Yeah.
They spun off a game studio, which is actually moderately successful now, called SMG Studios.
Okay.
And when I was working there, they're like top like creative, which is basically in the ads world, they do have people who are just ideas.
Yeah.
And we had a discussion about that. Like he had to like do all the steps to get there, but he's like, now I just come up with the ideas.
So good.
Yeah. Anyway,
I feel like I'm a little slightly in that area as well.
When you get towards management, you kind of have to be, because it becomes less about the nitty-gritty of the work and more it's the way they frame it, or the way I've heard it discussed, is like tactical versus strategy. Strategy is high level, like long term. Here's what we're going to do. It's going to lead to this. This is the goal. And tactical is like, this is what we're aiming to do. Here's all the little minutia steps we do.
Like here's this task that is part of the larger goal, and then how do you deal with that task?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, like Chris and Jonathan are. I mean, they've been that for years, and there are probably other people at the company who are in similar roles.
And we were kind of talking the other day that when you try to split your focus between both, you just fail at both usually.
Yeah.